My brother has been poisoning my girlfriend for the past 3 years. She's always been allergic to lactose very severely to the point where if she had any traces in her food, she would basically shit herself on the spot ever since she was a kid. My brother and I have always been on good terms and always hanged out together until 3 years ago when I met my girlfriend. He started getting more distant and mean towards me, talking about how she's ruining our broship and taking me away from our family and him. I told him that he was crazy and didn't think of it too much until recently. Going back to 3 years ago when I introduced Katie to my parents, he was livid. I moved out about 6 months later because I was tired of his constant bitching about her coming over to sleep and hang out. Ever since then, we would have family dinners at my parents' every month on Sundays. My family is Italian, so we eat a lot of pasta and sauce. My parents always make 2 separate meals ever since they met her. One with no milk or lactose-free milk for Katie, and one for the rest of us. She never had issues unless there was accidental cross-contamination, which happened every so often. The problem was, every month at those dinners she was getting sick to the point of rushing to the bathroom and having excruciating diarrhea for an hour with severe cramps. Every single time. At one point, I started refusing to go, and my parents kept insisting that I give it another try. It was fine for a few months, and then it started yet again. This goes on and off for 2.5 years. I got really mad last week and got up in the middle of dinner and said to my parents, "Something's up, someone is messing with Katie's food." My parents go quiet and ask me why I would say that. My brother turns rather pale and stops smiling. I knew it was him. I confronted him and he started crying, saying he felt like he had to get payback for her stealing away his big brother, that it wasn't fair. He said he was adding milk to the batch made for her and he had no regrets. I was absolutely livid. Katie as well. She excused herself and asked me to drive her back to our place. It's been 3 months and she cut contact with my parents. Katie refuses to talk to them anymore because they should have had my brother in check and given him a worse punishment. He literally got a talk, a smack behind the head, and that was it. And she said she can't believe I didn't stop talking to them as well. My parents, on the other hand, are mad that we let this little incident break up our relationship. My girlfriend says if I keep contacting them and insisting she forgives my brother, she's going to leave me. I love this girl to death. We've got plans to buy a house and eventually have kids. On the other hand, I love my parents too, but I can't have both anymore. So what should I do? Am I in the wrong for cutting off and exposing a friend who took advantage of a girl I was in love with? I, 22, had a best friend, Jay, 23, who I thought was like a brother to me. We've been through everything together, college parties, road trips, even heartbreaks, but this is something that I can't forgive. For years, I had feelings for this girl, Emily, 22. She was kind, smart, and honestly one of the few people who saw me for who I really was. I never made a move because I didn't want to ruin our friendship, and honestly, I never thought I had a chance. But Jake, he knew. He always knew. A few weeks ago, we were all at a party. Emily got too drunk, way too drunk. I was the DD, so I stayed sober. At some point in the night, I lost track of her, and when I asked around, I found out that Jake had taken her upstairs. I wanted to believe that he was just helping her out, but my gut told me something was wrong. The next day, Emily was distant, different. She wouldn't say what happened, but I could tell something was off. Then, last week, Jake and I were hanging out, and he started bragging. He said things like, "Bro, she was out of it, but she wanted it, you know? Like, she didn't say no." And then he laughed. I felt sick. I didn't say anything at first. Just let him keep talking while I secretly saved everything to my phone using Reclip. Every disgusting detail, every joke, every time he brushed it off like it was nothing. And then I posted it. I uploaded the Reclip on my stories, my feed, everywhere. I captioned it, "This is the guy you all call your friend." The fallout was instant. People started unfollowing him. Girls he had been with before started coming forward, saying they had similar experiences. His job found out, and last I heard, he got fired. But now, people are saying I went too far, that I ruined his life and should have handled it privately, that even though he was wrong, I shouldn't have destroyed him like that. My own family is telling me that I acted out of anger and that I should have just cut him off instead of humiliating him. Am I in the wrong for not refunding my friend $600 after she bailed on our group trip? My 19 female friends and I all decided to go on a ski trip for 12 days over winter break. We found a place to stay, and all in all, it was around $600 per person for rental, and we decided it would just be easiest to have one person, me, put all of the money up front and just everyone pay me back before the actual trip, which everyone did. In my friend group, we have a girl let's call Sarah. Sarah comes from a comfortable family and was even one of the people who suggested the trip and was one of the leading forces to finding the Airbnb. Literally in the weeks leading up to the trip, we were all fine, sending outfit ideas, restaurants to book, etc. On the Tuesday before we left, Saturday, Sarah starts sending texts in the group chat like, "Guys, Jacob's boyfriend, family is going to XXX next week." Basically sending us a lot of details about where his family's going for winter vacation that we didn't really need to know. Then on Thursday, again, we leave on Saturday, she texts the group chat saying how she couldn't go because she had a family emergency, said her grandma had gotten admitted to the hospital. We were obviously bummed out, but family comes first, and I told her that I would send her the money back that she sent us towards the rental. We go on the trip and everything is okay until one of my friends who has Sarah's location on Live 360, roommates, sees that she's in a beach town and we put two and two together. We spend that night pissed off and call her out the next day where she admits everything. She had been last minute invited to her boyfriend's vacation and decided that she wanted to go to that instead, but didn't know how to tell us. We were all obviously hurt and upset that she would choose a boy over us, but at the end of the day, she's a 19-year-old girl, so I guess it's just immaturity. The part where I'm wondering if I'm an a-hole is that after finding out that she voluntarily pulled out of the trip, I had told her that I wouldn't be refunding the $600 she had sent me for the rental. She pulled out so last minute that we couldn't find anything cheaper, and I said that I was okay with just wasting that money because again, I thought she had a family emergency. After finding out that she wouldn't be getting that back, she went insane and started calling me a bad friend and everything. My parents think I should send it back to her, but I don't see why I should. She pulled out because of her boyfriend and expected us all to just absorb the costs. So, am I in the wrong? Am I in the wrong for refusing to let my friend propose at my birthday party? I, 27 female, recently hosted a small birthday party at a nice restaurant. It wasn't anything extravagant, just a dinner with about 15 close friends and family. I was excited because I don't usually throw big birthday celebrations, and I wanted to enjoy the night with the people that I care about. A few days before the party, my friend, Mark, 28 male, pulled me aside and asked if he could propose to his girlfriend, Sarah, at my birthday dinner. He said it would be the perfect setting because all of our friends would be there, and it would make the night extra special. I told him no. I said I was happy for him and Sarah, but that this was my birthday, and I didn't want the focus shifted away from that. He looked a little disappointed, but said he understood. Fast forward to dinner. Everything was going great until Mark suddenly stood up, clinked his glass, and started giving a speech. At first, I thought he was going to say something about my birthday, but no. He got down on one knee and proposed to Sarah right there at my party. Sarah was overjoyed, everyone started clapping, and suddenly my birthday dinner turned into their engagement celebration. I was stunned and honestly pretty pissed, but I didn't want to make a scene. I just smiled and went along with it. Afterwards, I pulled Mark aside and asked him why he did it when I already said no. He shrugged and said, "I knew you'd understand. It was too perfect of a moment to pass up." I told him I felt disrespected, and he got defensive, saying I was being selfish because a proposal is a bigger deal than a birthday. Now some of our mutual friends are saying that I should just be happy for them and that I'm making a big deal out of nothing, but I can't help feel like that my night was hijacked. Am I in the wrong for being upset? Am I in the wrong for divorcing my depressed wife because her depression and depression-induced spending are dragging me down? When my wife, 36, and I met, 35, I was in an MBA program and she was finishing up her certification process to become a nurse anesthesiologist. I was drawn to her drive and optimistic view of the world. We were both young adults, 26 and 27, who saw the world as an endless source of opportunity. We discussed having kids when we were more established in our careers. After graduation, we both went to work. I got a job consulting, making $200,000 a year with a signing bonus, and have continued to grow in my career. My wife was crushing it at her dream hospital, making $150,000 before overtime. We were so happy, traveling and enjoying our lives. We eventually bought our home and were truly living our dreams. Until about 3 years ago, my wife had a mental breakdown at home between shifts at a hospital. She was eventually hospitalized for a few weeks. After she came home, we agreed that she would take 6 months off to recover, and I would take care of us. Immediately, she started spending an average of $2,000 to $3,000 every other week, traveling with friends and weekend trips. She stopped helping around the house and was constantly out of the house. I completely supported her for the first 6 months. She said it was part of her healing process, and I understood entirely, through sickness and health. Then, the agreed 6 months passed, and I asked if she was ready to return to work part-time. This caused her to shut down, so I backed off. Then, a year passed and revisited again. Another breakdown ensued. I asked if she was ready to consider starting a family and being a homemaker instead of working. We were in a great financial position and didn't need the money. She agreed, and for the last year, we've been trying to have a baby. We've even done fertility testing and been given a, "You're both healthy, keep trying." Last week, I was driving our car and dropped my phone. I pulled over to grab it from under the driver's seat and, to my surprise, found birth control pills. I was shocked and turned around on my way to work to confront her. She broke down and called me an abuser for trying to force kids on her. She has never told me that she didn't want kids, and I would absolutely never push her. She then started blaming me for her breakdown. She said it's my fault that she can't work. I then brought up how I've handled 95% of the cooking and cleaning for the last 3 years because I was trying to support her and allow her to heal, while she traveled and racked up a $10,000 credit card bill every month for me to pay off. Since, she shut down and refuses to talk to me. I've been sleeping at our vacation house because she says it's detrimental to her mental health to share a space with me, her abuser. I can't shake the feeling that I've been lied to and taken advantage of for years now. I want a divorce, but at the same time, if she is genuinely sick, I don't want to abandon her. Am I in the wrong for even considering leaving my sick wife? I can't shake the feeling that I'm selfish for even considering this. Also, yes, my wife has been actively in therapy for the last 3 years, and I have proof of this. She's not having an affair. Our intimate life is very good. Also, many of the trips that she goes on include her mother, who I trust unconditionally. I've stayed so long because I genuinely love my wife and want to ensure that she's cared for. I feel that I'm responsible for her well-being, and I'm terrified of what her life would look like without me. Am I overreacting? My husband ate all of my food. So, I just had surgery on my stomach and intestines almost 2 weeks ago. Because of the surgery, I have to adhere to a very strict diet until I'm fully healed. If I stray from my diet, it could cause severe complications and possibly lead to death. So for the first 2 weeks after surgery, I can only eat, drink a full liquid diet. The most solid thing that I can eat is pudding. I can't even have soup with any chunks of veg or meat in it, even if they're soft. There's not a lot of variety of foods to choose from, and I'm not having a good time at all. Plus, I'm still having pain from the procedure and some nausea, and I've had to go in for IV fluids and iron twice now. Prior to surgery, I meal prep for myself and for the family so I wouldn't have to worry about it after. I made meals for myself for every stage of the diet and with specific macros and ingredients to meet my needs and comply with my other health problems. For example, I have celiac disease, so everything has to be gluten-free. I also follow a low-sugar, low-carb diet, so everything had to comply with that as well. I made meals for him and our son, meals specifically requested by him. I stocked up on snacks they liked and asked for. We also have a fairly strict budget right now, so I made everything from scratch to save money. About a fourth of everything I made is in the freezer attached to our fridge for convenience sake. The rest is in the deep freeze in the garage. So most of the meals in the house freezer are gone, so I went to the garage to restock. All of the meals I'd made for myself are gone, just completely emptied out. I'm really upset because I have no energy right now to make more. Living off of liquids and having anemia will do that to a person. My diet is hopefully progressing to soft solids tomorrow, so I was really excited to be able to eat some of the food that I'd made. I asked him about it and he blamed it on our son first, which I know is BS because the kid hates all of my special food with a passion. There's no way he'd be sneaking my food. So I questioned my husband again. He admitted to it and said he'd been taking my meals to work as his lunch because he was too tired to make his own lunch. He's always made his own lunch up until now. He also said he was bored with the lunches he makes and my food provided variety. I am exhausted. This recovery period is kicking my ass. Before surgery, I ran a mile every day. Now, I barely have enough energy to walk up the stairs. I'm not supposed to lift more than 10 pounds. I'm not supposed to do anything more strenuous than walking. Even taking a shower right now is tiring. The anemia, dehydration, and lack of proper nutrition is making it worse. So when he admitted to taking my food, I just started crying. He hasn't been much help after surgery. My son, 11 years old, has been doing all of the lifting for me and helping me with chores and cooking. When I started crying, he got disgusted and told me that I was overreacting and being a baby. He refuses to make me new meals. He refuses to help me make new meals. He says it's been almost 2 weeks and I should be able to do my own stuff. At this point, I'm seriously considering divorce. I mean, my son and I are already doing everything on our own, and I know my kid won't eat my diet food. Am I overreacting?